Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Anta GH3. So of course, I got the GH1 right over here and also the GH2, and they were both really good performers, solid performers actually. Anta's been giving us really good quality tech and also performers for a very good price, right? So the GH1 right now on Famuji is like 90 bucks, and I believe that was the retail price, around 90 to 100 bucks. The GH2 was also like 105 to 110 bucks, depending on the colorway. And unfortunately now the GH3, they increased the price to 135 bucks. I mean, I guess it's not like super expensive, but of course they did increase the price a good amount, which definitely does suck, but I guess overall they are giving us good tech. So if you guys do want to get the GH3, there's two colorways. There's the Hornets colorway and there's also a very simple like black and white colorway. I'll leave links in the description box below, but let's get it started off with the Tracciones. And as far as the traction pattern goes, they're calling it a race tire traction pattern, and I guess it kind of does look like a race car tire or just a car tire, especially where the blue color is in the middle of the outsole, and then around the perimeter of the outsole with this white color we have more just like little line nub things and then here in the heel it gets a little bit thicker. So yeah, how does the traction feel on my wood floors? It feels freaking phenomenal, guys. It has a really loud squeak and the bite seems really good as well. So I feel like it's gonna have a very good bite on an indoor basketball court. We'll have to see, of course, on dust, and it did seem to pick up a little bit of dust actually. Now that I look at it, it looks a little dirty, but of course I'll have to actually test it out on dust. But right now it seems pretty damn nice, and my first impressions of the traction is really good. And as far as the outsole durability goes, it feels pretty damn good as well. It's supposed to be extra durable rubber, and Anta and Li-Ning and Chinese companies in general make very durable outsoles. So yeah, the rubber is super hard, the grooves are deep, and also the grooves are pretty thick as well. So I feel like durability is going to be good too. And also here in the middle of the outsole we have a midfoot shank plate, and it's just like a plastic, but it's like a really shiny plastic right here. I like that. Also, it kind of extends here into the medial side of the shoe as well. Now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it feels pretty smooth. It actually feels very smooth. So here in the heel we have a very nice curved shape, although it is kind of caged as far as the cushion goes. As you guys can see, this plastic piece, it goes all the way across the midsole here on the lateral side, but I guess it does leave a little bit of the cushion exposed right here, but mostly here it's caging, and also the rubber outsole does cage the cushion a little bit here, so it does make it a little bit stiff, but overall the shape is nice. And here in the forefoot we have a very nice curved shape, and we have a lot of forefoot flex. Look at that, super flexible here in the forefoot. So I feel like it's gonna be a very smooth heel to toe transition. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So we have two different foams in this midsole. So this white part here on the medial side is pretty much fully exposed. And then like I said, here on the lateral side, we have this cage, and we have a little bit of the foam exposed here in the heel and also here in the forefoot, which I like. I feel like they did a really good job here for the caging in the heel. So right here in the heel, you don't want too much compression, just because if it does compress a lot, it does make the overall cushion and the overall shoe a little unstable. So that's a good thing right there. And then they did expose it here in the heel, which gives you good compression right there. And also in the back of the heel, they did cage it, which I don't like, but it's all right, I guess. And then you can definitely feel a good amount of compression here on the medial side as well. So I do like that. And this white foam is a flash edge. And then in the forefoot, as you guys can see here from the outsole, we can see a little bit of a window, and that's called the Nitro Edge. Pretty much the same foam that they're using in the KT7. It looks like Boost. It's a forefoot pod, and I can't really feel it all too much right now. So as far as the insole goes, the insole is alright. I feel like it improves the step and comfort just a tiny bit, but for the most part it's quite stiff, and I feel like once I break it in and play in it a lot, it's gonna bottom out pretty quickly. The insole it's not that nice. And then underneath the insole, as you guys can see, yikes, the stroke board is quite stiff. There is a little bit of give, I guess, if I press pretty hard, but for the most part it's kind of stiff. So the step and comfort isn't too nice, and I can't, like I said, I can't really feel the Nitro Edge foam here in the forefoot. Hopefully it breaks in nicely once I break it in and play in it a lot, but I don't really think that's going to be the case. As far as the court feel goes, it feels pretty damn low to the ground, especially here in the forefoot, so I like that. And I feel like it's going to be a very responsive cushion with adequate impact protection. Nothing special about the cushioning setup so far. I guess it is kind of soft, but like I said, it is pretty caged and all that. So there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the materials. So as far as the overall upper goes, we have the same material pretty much going throughout this entire upper. And there is a little bit of an overlay, and it's basically a screen mesh, a super thin screen mesh that's glued onto another material. I'm guessing it's like a mesh or a textile material. Overall, it's actually really, really thin and super supportive feeling. There's absolutely no stretch to it. And also, I don't think the material is gonna stretch out all too much when you break it in. So probably it'll stay a similar fit throughout the entire lifetime of the shoe, which I guess is a good thing. But yeah, it feels nice and thin and minimal on foot. I like it. It conforms to your foot pretty well, although it is a little flimsy feeling, especially comparing it to like this textile material in the GH2. I mean, this material was super comfortable. I loved it on foot. And also it's pretty much just as supportive, right? So I don't really like to change all too much just because the GH2 is super nice, but just looking at the GH3, I guess the material is pretty nice. As far as the tongue goes, I mean, there's not a whole lot of padding here on top of the tongue, actually very little padding. And there is some screen mesh, pretty interesting design here. And then something interesting about the shoe. So we have straps, right? So we have a strap here on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. And this strap connects to the tongue, right? So the tongue, it's kind of like a half booty construction tongue just because of the strap. And I would say it's not a gimmick, but also it doesn't work super well right now, right? So I like how it tightens the tongue in the midfoot right here on top of your foot. That actually does feel nice, but you can't really tighten it all too much, right? Just because, as you guys can see, the strap isn't that long. Look at that. This white part is how much you can tighten it, right? So there's not a whole lot of tightening space with both of these straps. So I wish there was a little bit more leeway and you can tighten it a lot more. I do like the overall system though. I feel like it's a very, very good design, and it definitely does improve the lockdown here on top of your foot. And then here in the heel, we have an external TPU heel counter. And as far as the lining goes, we have a good amount of padding here in the back of the ankle, you know, so where your Achilles is, it feels very nice and cozy. And I also like this purple lining. It kind of reminds me of like a nice luxury sports car. So that definitely does improve the quality and feel of the overall shoe. They increased the price by like almost $30, you know, from the GH2 to the GH3, right? And the overall upper, I feel like, is a lot better in the GH2, just in my personal opinion. But I mean, this screen mesh material isn't bad. Like I said, it's thin. It feels very supportive right now. So I'm not too mad at it. It's just the quality doesn't feel as good as the GH2. And they increased the price, unfortunately. All right, moving on to the fit. I went true to size, and holy crap, this shoe is super narrow and very, very snug. And I would say it's even a little too snug for me. So I was walking around in it, and yeah, my foot got needles. So lengthwise, it's a little long. There's just a tiny bit of length, and I don't think I would go down half a size just because it's so damn snug. And also, I feel like if I went down half a size, it would be a little too short, right? So true to size, I feel like would be good for most people. I mean, if you have a super narrow or super skinny foot and you want a really snug fit, like a really tight fit, then I guess go down half a size. But for most people, true to size should be good. If you have a normal foot and you don't want a very snug fit, you should probably go up half a size. So yeah, here in the toe box, super snug. Width-wise, it's also pretty damn narrow. So overall, I do like it, but right now it feels a little too snug for me because I am getting needles, but I feel like that'll break in. All right, moving on to support and lockdown, I also feel like it's gonna be very good in the shoe. So here in the forefoot on the lateral side, we have this cage coming up, acting as a sidewall. So that's gonna keep your foot contained into the shoe. Same thing here in the midfoot, and also here in the heel, we have that external heel counter. So lateral containment, I feel like it's gonna be good, and lateral stability. Look at that. Look at how wide the shoe is. There's no outrigger, but holy crap, this midsole protrudes out like crazy. So you have very good lateral stability. So support and lockdown is looking pretty damn good so far. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. I feel like it's gonna be maybe around like 13 ounces, 13 and a half. It doesn't feel super light to me for some reason. Yeah, so 13.23 ounces. And the left pair is like 13 ounces. Okay, so just average it out to like 13.1 ounces. So it's a little bit heavier than average, not a huge deal. It feels like it's gonna be very responsive though. Support feels like it's gonna be good. I like the fit, super snug. Traction feels really good as well. The GH2, let's see, I feel like it's gonna be like 12.7 ounces. It's a little bit lighter. And the GH1 is probably gonna be around there. Oh, it's like 13 ounces. So I feel like, you know, all of his shoes have been around the same weight. Moving on to the aesthetics, I like it overall. Not a huge fan of these, what are these, like hexagons on the upper? It's like a fused hexagon that goes throughout this entire upper. But the overall design and the overall silhouette looks great. It's a super simple design besides the fused material. And I like the very simple black and white colorway a little bit better than this. And I feel like I like the GH2 better as far as the overall design goes, right? GH1 is probably like my least favorite, but anyways, tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, 135 bucks, it definitely does suck that they increased the price of the shoe, but it's looking pretty damn nice. The cushion that Anta is giving us in the shoe is very top tier pretty much, and overall I'm liking how it feels right now. And just for my first impressions, I feel like it's gonna be a very solid shoe to play in. I mean, the GH2 was super nice, and same with the GH1. That about wraps it up for my first impressions. If you guys do want to cop, again, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.